And hello! So I'm Joe.
I'm Ike.
And I'm Amanda.
What? And this is just cool enough, the show where we have different mic quality and different guests.
Well, we got to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, and we're definitely doing that this week. So, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Well, first and foremost, how are you doing, Joe? You seem to be sans face and mic quality.
That's true, and that's because I moved and changed everything in my setup, and it worked okay yesterday, and it's working very badly now. So I don't know why that happened. I'm gonna see if I can get the. There we go.
There we go. Where did you move to?
So I moved to downtown Ann Arbor. So it's kind of like a staycation. Are you familiar with the term?
I am. It means like you stay near home or at home. You don't go too far, but you have a vacation.
So yeah, so that's what we're doing. We, as you know, like we sold the house. And if you're not a long-time listener, we had a house, and my wife and I, and we sold the house. And I was driving an hour to work every day, and that kind of sucked. So we sublet a place in downtown Ann Arbor, which is like 11 minutes away from my office, and it's awesome. So there's no like drive time, and so that's what's happening right now, and that's why the room is weird. That's why the mic quality sucks. I promise I'll fix it by next week. We'll get everything working. But yeah, so this is what's going on right now. I'm living in a small apartment in a downtown area, and it's been great. I love it. And there's my wife's hand behind me.
How long have you been there so far?
About 4 days, I think, since the weekend.
And
so,
why this place? What makes it so great?
Well, it's okay. So it's right next to the University of Michigan. There's U of M is like I walk out and I can walk a minute and I'm right on campus there, which means there's a ton of great restaurants. There's a ton of things going on through the summer, different art fairs and concerts and comedy clubs, and it's all within like 20 minutes of walking distance. I can do pretty much everything I would normally drive to do. I can just do right now by walking outside and just going to walk to the place. So it's awesome. I've always wanted to live in a downtown area that was kind of active, and this is that right now. I'm kind of in the party section of the city. There's a lot of bars and stuff around, so it's like heavily student populated. In fact, they probably can hear me right now through these paper thin walls. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But
it's like, no, we can't. We're not listening.
We're totally not listening to your show. By the way, the show's on justcoolenough.com. Go check it out. But yeah, but we have a special guest this week. Enough talking about me. Who is the special guest here?
Hi.
Special guest Amanda, Ike's significant other, soon-to-be wife. How's that working out for you guys?
It's all right.
So they're in love, as you could tell, totally. It was funny, before the show started, they were talking about like picking out flowers and stuff, and I'm like, oh god, it's like I'm the third wheel at a bad date.
No.
And it wasn't that kind of flower, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
it was Mother's Day flowers. So Amanda's on the show and you may have noticed Eric is not on the show. He actually is at Disney World, and that was his excuse. Normally we make up something, but I'm like, why aren't you going to be on the show? He's like, I'm going to Disney World. I'm like, what? You're just going to go to Disney World? Like, what? Why? Or Disneyland, maybe it is.
I do believe in this case you are the last person to be able to complain about suddenly up and leaving.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? I am consistent. I'm consistently inconsistent. That's something. Oh man! So how's your week been, Ike? Let's start with you this time. Amanda, you know the form of the show. So this is how it goes. If you want to speak up, you're gonna have to speak. If you want to speak, you're gonna have to speak up. So feel free to interrupt.
My week's been alright. I've been trying to, as I mentioned on our other show, which you might not know about, and if you don't, you should check out Just Fit Enough that Joe and I do. I mentioned on that show that Atish and I have been in fierce competition for the most steps.
He's actually listening right now in the live chat room. Go to justcoolenough.com/live if you want to be part of the live listeners. So thank you, live listeners. We like you.
Today I was like, I put I think 19,000 steps down yesterday, 25 the day before. Today is like I got home from work and I only had like 6,000. So I went out for a walk with Amanda after work just to kind of get in the remainder of the 10 because that's my daily goal. But I figured, if Tish wants to run at the gym, fine. He can do whatever he wants. Tomorrow, though, it's showdown time. So if he wants to put some extra miles under his feet because he knows tomorrow he's going to suck some serious pavement and he can't do it, then go for it. Do a little catch up. He's in front right now, but.
See, he's talking crap right now in the live chat room. By the way, the live chat room is brought to you by Alpha Geek Radio. Thank you, Alpha Geek Radio, for providing our live streaming abilities, like the live chat room. You can check out a lot of good shows over on Alpha Geek, including the Daily Tech News Show with Tom Merritt. That's how I stay updated on my tech stuff. So go do the same. Good, we got that one plug out of the way. Amanda, how was your week? What did you do?
It's been pretty okay. I've been looking for a job, and I'm trying to get a job at a museum, like that's 10 minutes over there.
Right? The 10-minute drive is very
I know.
You don't have to tell me.
I'm so sick of driving an hour. We have a museum that is like a walk away, and it's I think it's the world's biggest fleet museum, so it's like a bunch of battleships. And they're looking for it.
I was like Fleet Museum. I thought that was some art term, but battleships? That is awesome.
We have the Battleship Massachusetts, the USS Massachusetts, like 10 minutes walk from here.
That's really cool. That's so cool. I mean, a museum sounds like a dream job, to be totally honest.
Yeah. It'd be really nice.
I know a battleship.
I know, a battleship museum? I can't really think of many other, like, the cooler museums than that, maybe, I don't know, a space museum for me, but Battleship Museum is pretty high up there.
And I would get really a lot of steps in. It's a lot of climbing.
Yeah, oh man, when you get a job that you can actually get the steps in, that's great. I feel really proud if I can make it to the, 6,000 in a day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I must have been stepping a lot. And then I have to go get the other 4,000 by, working out and stuff. So.
God, who does that?
Weird people. So, we haven't actually, I don't think we've ever had a significant other on the show.
Nope.
Well,
and Sarah can basically be in the show right now because the mic is so...
I feel like it's a little bitter, though. She was quick to answer.
It was bitter. It was almost as bitter as when she was listening to me last week talk about how I don't want to go fishing.
I'll go fishing with her.
Amanda says she'll go fishing with you.
She would. She's a nice person.
I don't think she spoke up enough for you to hear that. But that's good. She says I bet she would because she was a nice person.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. In one comment, gutting me and complimenting Amanda. That is my wife. So yeah, it's been really a crazy week because we packed everything into a suitcase. I'm transitioning back to me now, unless you guys.
Okay, I got that.
So okay, good. We packed everything into suitcases and we filled up the Saab and drove to Ann Arbor and unpacked everything. And we got into the room and talked to the guy and said, hey, you're still here. Are we kicking you out of your space? He said, oh no, I'm just gonna go up to the 13th floor and sleep over, and then I'll leave tomorrow morning. So we kind of hijacked the room from the person we subletted from, and they had to go sleep somewhere else. And it's just been a really weird, awesome thing. So I don't know. It is totally a staycation. I'm already loving it though. The worst part is finding parking, and so that could be solved if I just spent money. But I'm trying to be super cheap about this whole thing. So yeah, we're living like gypsies now, Sarah and I. We just want to travel and live like gypsies, but be close enough to our work where we don't have to do long commutes. So 10-minute commute, I'm all about it right now.
Yes.
There's so much less stress in my day. It's wonderful. Anyway,
you could probably run to work now.
Yeah, I could probably bike to work, but there's places where there's not sidewalk, and I've seen I like a guy died on the way to work last year because of the traffic and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of not. I mean, I want to do that, but and we have a shower there. Maybe if I do it really early in the morning, but that would be a good 20,000 step day. So, Amanda, you actually did some research before the show, looking at news stories and everything.
Well, actually, we had a terrifying day yesterday.
What happened?
I
Tell
don't
me
know if it
more.
made national news or not. I would think it would. So we live about 15 minutes from Taunton. And at the Taunton Mall yesterday, this guy, he's 28 years old, he had just been released from the hospital. And I don't know why they released him, because he was saying like the devil was talking to him and stuff. Like he clearly had like a mental issue. And he drove to some random woman's house yesterday, an 80-year-old woman's house, and her daughter was there too, I guess. He somehow broke into the house, stabbed both of them, killed the 80-year-old woman.
What?
Yeah. Then he stole their car, drove to the Taunton Mall, which is 15 minutes away from us, and he drove into Macy's. Like the car went into Macy's through the door.
Oh my
The
god.
knife, he didn't have the knife anymore. I guess he left it. He went into Macy's, assaulted a bunch of people, like physically assaulted them, went into Petrucci's, the Italian restaurant, got a knife there, and started stabbing people. And one of the victims was pregnant. He killed a teacher from New Bedford Voc, and then a off-duty police officer shot him in the middle of the restaurant.
So you know this is normally like a funny show, right?
I'm sorry, but that was our news. Yes, did it make national news? Or
Yeah, it did. I heard about that on the radio, but I didn't realize it was so close to you guys. Holy crap.
Yeah, we go there all the time. It's like our mall.
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. What goes so did you guys like catch this on the radio as it was happening?
So,
where were you guys at?
No, for a better, I don't know what to call her. My sister-in-law, if you say that, she's been with my brother forever. Like, she works there. She had just left work, and my mom's best friend works at the Macy's that this happened at. So Facebook blew up all of a sudden,
I bet.
and I went on. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they were a little upset because they were in the stores when this happened.
That is a crazy tragedy that all that stuff happened. This guy went on like a Grand Theft Auto rampage. I don't know.
Pretty much, and they don't know why. Like, what was the motive? They believe it was mental illness because clearly he had just been released, but they don't really know the whole story yet, and it's.
Well, that sounds pretty terrible. Ike, do you have anything to add to this?
I do not have anything to add to this. Actually, it was quite frightening just because we knew people that were there. And,
right. Yeah.
You know, flashing back to all those times in RA training when they're like, oh, you know, as a resident assistant, if somebody does this, like, don't get involved. You're there to observe and report, that kind of idea, but like, don't jump in. And your first thought is like, if I saw some dude getting the crap kicked out of him or whatever, I'd jump in. And that's kind of what this teacher did, was like, you know, tried to jump in, but ended up getting stabbed and killed. And then you're like, well, that's kind of why they tell you not to do it. But
yeah, Sarah always tells me not to be a hero, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
No.
Hey, be quiet. Pretend I'm in a studio. This little apartment thing might not work out because of this.
How big is this apartment? Like, are we looking at the entire apartment?
This is it right here.
It's the closet.
It is. It's the closet with a mirror on it and a bed.
Are you sure that's not like the living room behind you and you're in the closet? Maybe you're in the wrong room. Maybe it's kind of like Futurama, where like Fry opened up the closet in Bender's apartment. It was this giant room.
Oh my god. No, yeah. I mean, we have a shared living space and a shared kitchen. This is our little area. So, but maybe next week I might, once I get all the kinks figured out.
So it sounds like a dorm room. It literally sounds like a dorm room.
It's basically a dorm. I'm basically renting a dorm for the summer. It's like a little
having that college experience you never got.
Rehabbing the college experience.
Your mic sounds like it's a college experience.
Oh, it is. It's exactly. It's like I went back in technology and everything. It's like I went back to 2005. I'm gonna be a big podcast star about World of Warcraft. Like, That's exactly what happened. So yeah, maybe next year I'll be a freshman and I'll get a better mic. I'm applying for schools at the moment. Yeah, it's funny. It's like hello children, how are you doing today? That's my job. What are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm applying for jobs and I'm looking for this. I'm taking
I
this
would be a
class.
fireman when I grow up. Oh.
I would, yeah. That's kind of how it feels. I'm like, oh well. Yeah, I'm just like the grizzled old veteran. I'm like, wow, I remember 10 years ago when I did school stuff. But so I actually had some tragedy strike relatively close to home. I don't
So
know
yeah,
if this
we'll just keep in the rut of not being a comedy
right.
show.
No, I mean this
Thanks,
is pretty
man.
terrible.
Thanks,
So,
Obama.
by the way, that show was great for SEO. If we name things "Thanks Obama," that's like instant SEO. People search and talk about it. It's like it's our second highest rated show. It's our second highest downloaded show this year. I don't know what the other one was. I think it's Spacetime Oddity. Episode 320 of Spacetime Oddity. We got such a good plug from the guys over at Top Dead Center, that show that I was on. Go listen to episode 7, the last 3 minutes, Ike. Oh my gosh, they gave us such a good plug. So I want to embed this into the show now. Those guys are awesome. Thanks for the awesome plug. And go listen to their show if you like cars at all. You'll get just such an appreciation for obscure vehicles. And if you like cars a lot, go to their Facebook page and give them a like. So yeah, tragedy close to home for me, since this is the tragedy show. Thanks, Amanda. We have tragedy over at the Groziel High School, which is about 20 minutes away from maybe even like 5 minutes away from where we were living over at Sarah's mom and dad's house. What they did is there was a ritual Ike, you still there? Oh no. I think everybody just dropped off. Or they just dropped off and it's just me on the call. Oh god. Well, we'll see if we can invite these guys back into the show because this is just great. Hey man, just me back. Let's see if I get. This will be some editing for the audio version.
Hello.
You guys back?
Yeah.
Hey, you're back.
I figured of all the nights to have this issue is when you're telling a story in the middle and you have crappy quality, just to add a little icing to that cake.
This is the best. This is episode. Is this episode 327? What is going on?
We'll just have to start skipping episodes 27.
I know. Anything, I don't know what's going on, but it's in a bad. Is Amanda going to be able to come back on?
I'm working on it. Anyway, you were starting to say.
No, I'm gonna edit all of this out of the audio version.
Yeah, you can just edit out of the live stuff too, right? Hit the edit button.
At this point, I wish I could erase it.
Cheers, love, and just hit the button. We'll go back in time. You just have to hit the E key. Go back like 45 seconds.
What game is that?
Overwatch.
Oh yeah, is that what Tracer does? That's not.
Yeah. I'm gonna since we're gonna edit it out anyway.
Don't do it.
I'm just gonna walk away.
What is going on here?
What's up?
So for the live chat room, I'm just gonna say thank you for sticking with us at these the most disparaging moments of just cool enough. Oh man.
Yeah.
You're totally doing it.
It should be. You have to agree to all the stuff so that we can use your likeness on the internet and defame you publicly.
There it is.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yay!
Okay,
Right.
so we're gonna start from the top of the tragedy story, and I'll just edit it together in the audio version. If you're listening live, I apologize, and this is the beauty of watching the show live, watching the sausage being made. So starting from the top of the Groziel thing. So anyway, tragedy struck tragedy struck my area also. Maybe not on the national scale. There's a town close to me called Grosseal, and they're a little island community. And they had a high school ritual that they performed before a track meet or a lacrosse meet, where they did an animal sacrifice, and not just any animal. They sacrificed a hamster, and they not only did they sacrifice a hamster before a game, they drank the hamster's blood before the game, before this game to it.
I feel like that really wouldn't work very well. You have 20 people in line to all drink the hamster blood, but it's like a shot glass. After the first person drinks the blood, like who there's nothing left for the next person.
Well,
There's
I mean,
no
like
more.
how much blood? How big is the lacrosse team, and how much blood does the
Poor
hamster
hamster!
But yeah, and
Oh
also,
my god!
whose hamster was it? Was this a school project hamster? Like,
This
was
is
it?
terrible!
It was. It was a terrible story. That's why you brought up the tragedy. I figured I'll continue the theme.
It was all in the name of math. They wanted to figure out if you had 20
Yeah.
lacrosse players and one tiny hamster, how much blood could be sucked out of the hamster?
I just the team like in what reality, unless you're in some ancient Mayan culture, does animal blood help you win at a game? And if you're
Well,
gonna
did they
drink
win?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good point.
No!
in what
No!
universe? In what universe does a hamster, like, if you're gonna murder an animal?
No, you shouldn't be murdering an animal! Like,
Okay.
oh my god!
We've established that murdering animal and animal cruelty is wrong, heinous, and bad. But if you were going to murder an animal in the name of winning, wouldn't you want it to be something a little bit more badass, like a hamster? What kind of crappy sacrifice to something? Like, what 2-bit god wants a hamster sacrificed to them in the name of winning a lacrosse game? Like, wait, I can't even fathom what they were thinking, and this must be some crazy, crappy herd mentality thing of a bunch of kids getting together. I can't imagine a scenario while I was in high school that they can get me to be in a room where they murder a hamster and drink its blood. Like, what is going through people's heads? Is the world going crazy?
I've tried to Google just to see if they won, but all I get when I Google team drinks hamster blood or lacrosse team drinks hamster blood is old hamster passes a lot of blood and bleeding from anus or genitals, please help. I'm not sure where the hamster comes from that second one, but I clearly can't find the story. I'm beginning to think maybe you made it up just for sensationalism.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I will link you to the story. Maybe they made it up, and maybe I'm being taken for a ride, because I hope.
Is it from The Onion?
It is not from The Onion. It's from the Detroit Free Press, a USA Today network newspaper. So I linked it over in our temporary chat. You can go check that out. Yeah, so that's the local story that people were talking about around here. Ike, did you bring a violence or a murder story this week?
No, I left my murder story in my other pants, unfortunately.
Did you have a less murdery, bloody story for us?
A less murdery, bloody story. Well, no, I didn't really. I saw the new Captain America movie.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was good.
But I know that there's at least one of us.
No spoilers,
Yeah.
I won't. I was a good Marvel fan and waited till the credits ran.
That will be a non-spoiler spoiler, is you should always wait till the end of the Marvel movie. Like, there's a little stinger after it kind of ends. They do like a little teaser, but then there's one after all of the credits, so stay to the end. Because I talked to some of my students at school who are like, did you stay for the whole thing? Like, no, they had the little one after like some of the credits. I'm like, no, but there was another one after all of the credits. Like, oh, my friends didn't want to stay that long. I'm like, you missed out, so stay.
Yeah.
By the way, our live sports correspondent in the chat room, Atish, says the game was canceled. So thanks for that critical update.
That's because they didn't have enough hamsters. After they drank one, realized only one person could drink hamster, they needed more next time. You got to bring a 12-pack of hamsters.
Oh, God, they're all jumping around and stuff.
Not for long.
Poor hamster.
It's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible, and I'm glad they canceled the game. Anyway, yeah, and Tish also says a lacrosse team has about 20 players, so that's a lot of hamster to split
The
between.
last quote in the story you link says, "Once law enforcement has completed its investigation, we will begin a proposition to assess the facts and circumstances and, if necessary, apply our student or athletic handbooks." I don't know
Where
what
in the
athletic
handbook does it say
handbook is
anything
like.
about hamster sacrifice?
It will now. That's the
What?
thing.
Well, you know what? Like, okay, like HR policies, they got to deal with a lot of different stuff, but you don't know it's a problem until you have to deal with it.
Oh
Like,
my
I was
God.
going through HR policies, and I'm like, oh, a lactation policy. And I read through it, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. It's good to have this. And so, like,
But
now,
it wouldn't have been there unless somebody were lactating ahead of time.
that's what I'm saying. So, like, okay, it's a funny joke, but until it happens. Maybe this hamster thing is like the new thing. I bet you Oprah's going to talk about it, and it's going to spread through the country. And then before you know it, that's going to be a thing to do as a lacrosse team is to drink the hamster blood.
So you have the whip and nay nay, and then you have the running man challenge, and now you're gonna have the drink the hamster blood.
Well, that's I think drinking the hamster blood is like next to huffing and stealing your
You get high
grandfather's
off of
liquor. Yeah, it gives you superpowers. Imagine, oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Anyway,
well, because last thing on it, isn't it used to be that they used to believe it would give them some kind of like the power of the animal? Like part of it was if I ingest the heart of the cow, or
What power
I
are
do
you getting?
this,
What
you
power
get
are you getting to
my
spin
point.
a wheel forever?
the power to make squeaky noises.
Power to grow giant testicles. Anyway,
Well, like, maybe that's what they need in the lacrosse game. They need some sort of. Maybe hamsters have really good hand-eye coordination that we just don't
that
know
we
about.
didn't know about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just. If they would have gotten some sort of grant, they could have done it as like a science thing.
Put lab coats on.
Yeah, they put lab coats on and.
Would have been okay.
Oh God! Yeah. Oh God! From the live chat room, the hamster blood challenge: drinks hamster blood, then donate to PETA to raise awareness. Oh God! Oh, we are heading down a road. We're heading down a terrible.
I think somebody's onto that. Jump on Instagram and get that started on Twitter.
Hamster blood challenge.
Hashtag hamster blood challenge.
I challenge Ike and Amanda to the hamster blood challenge. Oh God!
I'm all set. I'm all set. I like
will-
my animal.
Well, either you have to drink the hamster blood or you have to donate $50 to PETA.
Listen, you know how I feel about those challenges.
Yeah, I hate being challenged to those things. Somebody
It
challenged
doesn't
me.
make
Yeah,
any sense.
I'll get right on that. You
It
know.
doesn't make any sense.
Wait, why? Why doesn't it make sense? Tell me your reason.
Like, so the whole, like, with the ice bucket challenge, it didn't make sense to me because it was like they gave me the choice to dump a bucket of ice on my head or be nice and donate to charity.
So what you're
I
saying
was
is should be like,
like,
you get
why would
ALS
I
or you
dump a-
donate to ALS.
Oh God.
I wouldn't
Racist
dump a
thing.
bucket on my head. I would donate to the charity because that's the nice thing to do.
Or the people that just dumped a bucket because it's hilarious and donated to the charity because
Yeah.
otherwise you look like a terrible human being.
Or they could do what I did and totally avoid the situation and pretend that it never happened. I don't understand. Okay, I can donate to the charity that I want on my own. I don't want to be called out. I'll donate on my own. I don't need your ice bucket guilt. I don't need this or your hamster blood challenge. So anyway, how is Captain America?
It was good.
So it's something like Sarah and I need to go see, essentially.
There's no spoilers, I promise, but there's a
Please,
lot
please,
of
yeah.
like twists. It like all over the place. Lots of twists.
Oh yeah, that's what we like. All the twists. So,
Yes.
but okay, no spoilers. It's definitely worth seeing. How many stars? You gonna give it a thumbs up? Stars? Give me a rating.
I mean, it's mostly a lot of it is like filler for the big story arc that they're building over the years, like how they're connecting the Avengers with Guardians and all that. It's a lot of build up to what will eventually
So they're
be.
tying everything together.
Everything is coming together to
Awesome.
meet eventually.
That's
And
so,
my fan theory is Howard the Duck is going to save the day.
oh my gosh, that's still a possibility, which I like.
He was in one of the movies. It's a very good possibility.
Wait a second, he was? Is this a spoiler? What are you telling me?
No, if you stayed till the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, till after the credits, like a good Marvel fan that we're talking about, you would have seen Howard the Duck.
I think I did stay to the very end. I don't remember it. What happened?
The collector ends up the camera ends up panning in the
Oh,
collector's
that's
room,
right.
and Howard the Duck is there.
It's Howard the Duck. He's going to save the day. Watch.
Oh my
They don't need
gosh.
all these heroes. They just need Mr. Howard the Duck.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. I think they at least would make a cameo, because wouldn't it like spoil the whole series if Howard the Duck came in and was like, "I'm here"?
I love this theory that I have because it would piss everybody off so much, and I love that.
See, I was thinking they just threw him in there to help tie the universe together further. Because I mean, it's from the 80s or early 90s. It's back a ways. So just saying, hey, don't forget this is part of our universe. Like this person exists within this bigger picture, and just
What if he just keeps making cameos? Would that be enough for you, Amanda?
No, I want him to be a hero. Because everybody would be like, really? Really? This is where you're going with this? I think the internet just crashed again, did it? No?
No,
No,
it didn't.
no, you're still here. Don't worry. I'll just keep moving back and forth like
Okay.
this. So you
Everything went frozen for a second.
yeah.
Let it go.
Oh,
Let it go.
no! I knew I was
So-
like, you dropped a bomb. I was like, oh, it was like
I got to see it with our mutual friend Ryle and Amanda. We went and saw it, and it was one of those things like, yeah, you could see it in 3D, and I like 3D movies. I'm more apt to see a 3D movie when it's an animated picture because I feel like they put effort into making it look three-dimensional. Versus like Ant-Man was nice in 3D,
Yeah.
but there are some of the other ones I'm like, it wasn't really necessary that I saw it in 3D because I didn't feel like overwhelmingly I got something out of this that I wouldn't if I had seen it in 2D. We saw Avengers in 2D, and I'd say don't blow your money on 3D. It's a really great movie, but I didn't from
There
the
wasn't enough.
visual standpoint. I don't feel like there was a whole lot of need for having a 3D set of glasses on.
Some places I felt were like a little Blair Witchy where the camera was super, super shaky. I don't know if you felt like that too, Ike. I pick up on that because I get motion sickness, but...
Nope.
Yeah, I think, I've just tried to avoid most 3D movies like the plague. I just can't. I just don't get a good experience out of them. It doesn't add to it at all. I never even have the experience where I'm like jumping back or anything. And so I just haven't done it in a while. Has it gotten better since 2 years ago?
I think again, it's really 3D movies are kind of a hit or miss. Like I find 3D movies that really work well, but then I find some that are just like, hey, we're doing this in 3D, and then like
There's no reason
things
for it.
appear to be kind
Like,
of.
maybe I saw Avatar in 3D. I don't remember.
That one was worth seeing in 3D, I thought.
See, I thought the opposite. I do feel the opposite. I was just like, okay, cool. So some vines swing your way, and like animals come and trample you, whatever. It's just maybe the 3D thing is just kind of lost on me. I'm not sure.
I mean, and I don't feel like anything's coming out of the screen. I just enjoy the depth of field that's created by some. Where I don't feel like something's popping out of the screen, but I enjoy knowing the background is way in the back and that the foreground stuff, as opposed to seeing a flat picture that my brain extrapolates from.
So I guess we didn't explain Amanda's name very well, because in the chat room it says, Joe, tell the woman. So I'm going to assume that they meant Amanda. It says, tell the woman it's called found footage movies, not Blair Witch style. So we have a stickler for movies in the chat room. Yeah, so found footage movie. Yeah, those things do make me motion sickness or
I
motion
don't
sick.
like them.
I love them.
He went to
Do you
go
really?
see that movie.
Like the whole moving around thing is just.
It does something for me. I mean, I wouldn't want to see him every movie that way, but like Hardcore Henry, I really enjoyed that movie. And that whole movie is just that kind of like you're looking first person and shaking.
Well, they did it on an iPhone, so.
No, I can't do that.
I thought they did it on a whatever GoPro.
Maybe, yeah, that's what it was.
But I really enjoyed those kind of movies because it does limit you to what you can see. I know that speaking to Amanda about like why she doesn't play first-person shooters, she doesn't enjoy that she can't see a full field of view like you would when you're playing a third person.
Right.
And I feel like those kind of movies give you that same experience, that you're limited, even if you're looking at someone as opposed to in front of them like Hardcore Henry, that you're still limited to kind of whatever you see behind them. And I think to me it adds a little bit. And I don't mind the rocking too much.
Well, I think it has to do with the perspective. Like, I can't watch somebody play a first-person shooter game because I need to like anticipate the motion. Otherwise, I get inside my own head and I feel kind of sick. So it's really like I could watch people play all kinds of different games and third-person games. I can watch happen, but somebody playing a Twitch game where they're just like jerking the camera around Counter-Strike style or Overwatch, like it's hard for me to understand what's going on. And even playing Overwatch, I can play it no problem all day. But when I'm watching somebody else play, unless it's just like a small like 20-second clip of some super mega kill, I can't watch a streamer. It just bothers me. It makes me upset.
I don't understand how the sickness thing works. I don't really get motion sickness. I like roller coasters. I like first-person shooters. I don't really get it, so it's hard for me to understand.
Amanda, do you do the roller coaster thing? Like, do you like roller coasters? Do you enjoy them? Okay. I absolutely love roller coasters, but I love sitting in the front or being able to know where the track is going. Like
So like Space Mountain wouldn't be.
I like
Space
older
Mountain.
roller coasters, like the wooden ones, but the ones that flip everything. I tend to swear a lot when I'm scared. It's not a good situation for anybody. I don't like feeling like that.
I love that butterfly feeling you get in your stomach. That's one of I get that feeling before I'm about to do something cool or scary, and I love it. I get that feeling when I'm racing. I get that feeling when I'm at the top of a roller coaster, or if the plane like dives 10,000 feet really quick for some reason. Like, I like that feeling. It makes me feel alive.
Did he ever tell you when he tried to get my brother on a roller coaster?
Please tell me more.
So, I thought I had said this at one point, so stop me if you've heard it before. But we went to New Orleans a few years ago, and we were at the Harry Potter part of the park, and I really wanted to go on the Dueling Dragons, and nobody would go with me. I'm like, whatever. So later on in the day, we came across the Hulk roller coaster. Couldn't get anybody to go on it with me. I was like, you know what? I'm not giving up this day without going on a roller coaster, so I went on Hulk by myself. And then at the end of the day, I'm standing with Armin, which is Amanda's brother, and his girlfriend Kate. We're all standing in Harry Potter again. I was like, listen, we got like minutes till the park closes. Like, man up. You told me he actually in one point of the day said, I will go on the Dueling Dragons with you. But then when we finally like came time to put your money where your mouth is, he's like, I'm not going on that. So at this point in the day, I'm like, come on, come with me. He's like, I don't know. And like, he's like, I'm really scared. I don't really want to because I'm not feeling it. So he's like, but we'll go look at people riding it just so I can see what it's like. I'm like, having to go through this whole, like, yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah. So anyway, there's like no line because it's the end of the day. We go down this like mile-long queue because there's nobody in it. Right. We get straight to the front and we get straight on the ride. And so we sit down, and he's at this point he's turning white. He's like, I can't do this. And like they're coming around. We had already pulled down the things over our shoulders, so they're coming around like checking it. They're like, "Oh, is it good?" And he looks up. He's like, "Excuse me, I need to get out of this." And I don't know if the person chose not to hear him because they were at the end of the day and they're just like, "Fuck it, no," or if they really didn't. So he's on the outside seat. And he's trying to flag the person who's in the control booth up ahead of us to like try to get him off. And so I'm trying to distract him because he does Sick Vita, the band I've mentioned before on the show. I'm like, hey, listen, how's your band doing? Trying to like change the subject, trying to get him to stop, and he's like not having it. And then they're like, okay, I'm like the whole thing jerks and just starts going forward. And he is by this time like, I think Casper would be jealous about how white this kid was.
Oh my gosh, this poor guy.
So his eyes are closed and he's clutching the thing, and we're going up that first embankment that every single roller coaster has. And then we get to the top and we just start going. And finally opens up his eyes, and he had a blast. In fact, by the time we got off, I was like, hey, we still have time to get on the other one of the Dueling Dragons. Do you want to do that?
Okay.
And he was like, this is awesome. No, let's go. Like, we ran to the front, got on it again, didn't have a problem. He's like, I really want to do the Hulk roller coaster. We're like, I don't think you have time. That's like the other side of the park. Like, he ran to the Hulk and they just closed, so he wasn't able to get on it. But I'm like, see, you should have gone earlier in the day when I went on the Hulk. You would have been fine. But instead, he decided to wait till the end. But it was awesome watching him just like turn white.
Well, I like that he kind of. I mean, like you're pretty good at convincing people to do things they don't.
No,
normally
he's a
want to do.
manipulator.
Well, yeah, I was trying to say that politely. Why do they significant others? They always cut so deep. I'm trying to put it eloquently here.
No,
Like,
I'm
yeah,
stating it as it is. He's a
He'll-
manipulator.
He'll. Yeah. Well, okay. So anyway, Ike is really good at getting people to do things that he wants them to do. Like I was saying.
I would never say or do that.
What gave you that skill? Why do you think you're like that?
I think that I'm a Libra.
Amanda's smiling like crazy.
I think it's because I'm a Libra.
What does that even mean? I'm a Libra.
No,
I don't believe in that
I was
star
gonna say,
stuff.
for the people that kind of believe in astrology, Libras tend to be their sign is a scale. Amanda is also a Libra. Couple of big things about Libras is they tend to be very indecisive, but coupled with that is they know exactly what they want. So they hope that you'll pick it, because if it's like, oh, do you want chocolate or vanilla ice cream? And they're like, well, I really want chocolate. But they'll come across as saying, I don't care, well, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
And they're like, oh, well, I'm really going to think about I'd like to go with some vanilla.
It's awful.
Typically, a Libra will be like, yeah, vanilla's really cool, but like chocolate, man, chocolate's so much better.
Oh my gosh.
And
this
hopes
sounds
that
terrible.
that then that person will be like,
terrible.
you know what, we'll go with chocolate. That sounds like an amazing. That's a great idea. It's awesome that you picked chocolate. So that's what Libras tend to be like, and it's even worse when like
You're both
Amanda and I are like,
Libras.
hey,
Wait
you
a
wanna?
second. Hold on. I have a birthday right next to you guys.
Yeah, you're a
that would
Libra.
make you a Libra.
We're all the same
Yeah.
astrology sign. What is that?
And the bad thing is if you live with another Libra, it's nothing ever gets done.
No.
Because things, I mean, we've joked about men and women before in the show, but it's kind of even multiplied by 3. But it's like, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? I don't know. What do you want to do for dinner? I don't care. You pick. I don't want to pick. You pick. I don't really care.
I mean,
Well,
like,
let's
isn't
do
that just
like
a
Wendy's.
common-
I don't want to do Wendy's. Well, then what do you want to do? I don't care. Anything but Wendy's. Okay, well, what about like, I don't know, Chili's? I don't want to do that either. But you just told me I got to pick. So this is kind of how the conversations go a lot of the time.
I guess I do that too, but it's more of like a, hey, just name a couple options and we'll pick one kind of thing. But
it really will pick one, or have you already picked one and you just need the other person to feel like they made the choice?
I just feel like I like making, I like having options, right? But I want to make sure that we pick it efficiently so it's not a discussion that goes on for a long time. It kind of sucks to do that because you end up wasting time.
That's why Libras will just be like, you pick. I don't care. It's not that. I mean, I do kind of care.
I generally don't care.
It's the path of least resistance.
Yeah. But why? Why? Do you think there's two things here? So there's the small issue that I'm thinking, okay, picking a place to eat. But what the astrology thing? Like you subscribe to that? That's a thing that's real, and you see it ring true.
I've been up in the air about it because I feel like, you know, the times when you have your Chinese, because they're not real, Chinese fortune cookies, which are American made, and you crack one open, it's like, today you will find, you know, good luck. And you're like, well, you know, if you ate it at the end of the day, you're like, you're right. Today I found a $20 bill in my pocket. Like, what's to say that stupid cookie had anything to do with it? Because sometimes you're so broad. It's like, today you will have a smile on your face. You're like, you know, at one point I was angry, but I did smile, I think, when I saw so-and-so. You know?
But that's just
So I feel like the astrology thing at the same time is kind of the same way. It's like, today your daily horoscope is this, but at the same time, some of the attributes that I feel like apply seem to be.
But have you ever heard of the term confirmation bias?
Yes.
So like if you're looking for something, you'll find it. That's essentially what that means. Don't you think that the astrology side of that is just confirmation bias? If you boil it down, like, okay, I'm looking for facts that or an instance where I feel lucky, and I think lucky is kind of a load of BS too, because I think luck is when opportunity meets preparation, something like that, and that forms luck. Luck is just you don't luck into things, you just right place, right time, but I guess that's called luck.
But I see where you're going with it, and yes, I do. In fact, sometimes I feel like when I say I do this because I'm a Libra, it's because of that. Like I'm not using it as an excuse for why I act that way. I use it as a like a jumping off point. I act this way, and that's clearly because I'm a Libra, which I don't necessarily believe, but it seems to be one of the characteristics that people subscribe to being a Libra, and so I'll just use that as an excuse for why I do it.
I guess the is it something you live by though? Do you like
I don't wake
up
up every day and think, man, I'm going to be indecisive today because I'm a Libra.
No, I mean like the horoscopes. Do you read it like every day?
No,
No.
I used to have like horoscope books and I liked looking through them, but again, I really feel like a lot of them are just like if looking at clouds and you're like, oh, that's a bunny rabbit. Like if you want to, and you mentioned it, if you want to see it, you'll find it.
Right. Well,
And so I have a hard time believing that like daily horoscopes work that way, but sometimes it may be the same effect though. I do believe to some extent that from my experiences with friends and knowing their horoscopes that and maybe you become what you are.
right.
Like,
It's kind
if
of
people
circular.
expect it, you will become it.
Right. But it's I think you it's chicken or the egg or fate versus what is the other option after fate? Oh, free will versus fate. You know, like it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, oh yeah, Joe, you're so outgoing. Well, I guess I'm outgoing, so I should probably talk to this person. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Amanda, what do you think about all this mumbo jumbo?
I'm very indecisive, so it's miserable in this household. We don't get anything done.
So yeah, regardless of Libra stuff, we're both just kind of like whatever for the most part. We're very
Well, maybe
passive.
because you guys are just would you consider yourself easygoing as a couple?
Depends on what it is.
I like how Ike was quiet and Amanda was like, I'm clearly gonna say it. Ike, you obviously are ready for marriage.
It depends on what it is. Because, well, out of the two of us, I'm more of the high-strung one. Like, I have to have things organized, and I have to have things a certain way. And he's really laid back, and it drives me nuts sometimes.
Well, he's not laid back. He knows what he wants. He's just gonna get it eventually.
Yeah, but no, like we
No.
were talking about like, we had plans. We still have plans for going to Australia this summer. On one hand, I'm just like I can understand why I should want to plan things because we're going abroad, but at the same time, I have no problem just showing up and doing whatever we find there to do. And if that's nothing one day, then that's fine with me. And I can see how some people are like, no, I mean, yeah, you go someplace and you have certain expectations and you want to have things set up. But at the same time, it doesn't bother me that if we didn't.
Yeah, and I think you gotta leave time for when you're traveling to have those random experiences. But
And it's
at
fine.
the same time, you do have to have some sort of structure because. And I've experienced this because I planned a vacation versus Sarah planned a vacation. And when we went to Italy, we could have had a way better time if Sarah planned things, or if I even planned things. Because I just kind of went there and I was like, yeah, we'll see this, and it'll be good. It'll be a good framework.
You're just trying to kiss ass because she's sitting behind you.
Well, that's also true, right? But seriously, I think we could have had a better time if we would have done
It's
just a
more
little bit.
organized.
Yeah, because it was a little bit more structured, a little more organized. Things that will. Here's a couple pro tips. Know where you're gonna eat. Give yourself 3 different options, because like grabbing street food, you get taken advantage of. You want to if you're in a different place, you want to experience that culture. Food's a great way to do that, and that's always a point of not contention, but it could be a point of contention if you don't have options ready to go. Like we're gonna be in this city. There's gonna be these restaurants here, and maybe around 3 o'clock you're hungry, and oh look there's this place on Yelp or Google Maps, and we're close to it within walking distance. Let's go. I just think like little things like that I didn't take care of that normally Sarah takes care of are really great. Like it adds to the experience so much because we were walking around the city in France, and Sarah's like, "Oh yeah, this is the restaurant that I wanted to go to." It's like, "Well, I'm hungry. Perfect. Let's do it. Like let's go to this place." So I thought that was great. So I'm actually for the more planning that goes into it because it does lead to a better time. But I also think like you
No,
gotta,
Joe, you can't play both sides on this one.
no, I was just gonna say I also think like you can't be so enamored with the schedule that it makes you have a bad time too. So you got to know when to cut it and say, well, listen, this isn't working out. We got to get on it. Like, feel free to hit the eject button.
Yeah.
if things aren't working. But even like I even if you spend like $100 at a museum and you're like, okay, well we spent $100 to get in here. We got to spend 3 hours here. Oh fuck that. Just if you spend $100 and it's not worth it, you're only there for such a short amount of time. Just cut it, get out of there, and do the next thing because you might have a better time. Unless you're going to dwell on losing the $100, then that will pretty much ruin the day. So don't do that either. Theoretically, these are all theoretical stuff.
And she's also the planner. And I don't mean like I know we're talking about planning like going abroad, but like if you go into our kitchen, she has a calendar there with everything important that you need to know. My parents' birthday is her parents' birthday. Like everything's written on this calendar. I don't write anything on this calendar.
I dig that. That's good. That's cool.
Why do I do that?
And sometimes I forget things. But you know what? That's part of just living life the way I live it. You gotta live it free and just go with the flow.
Lose.
No!
It's fail early and fail often.
Hey, don't use my words against me. That's true, though.
I almost killed him. I almost killed him one time. When he decided to go to Italy, I almost murdered him. I almost threw him out of my moving car at 90 miles an hour.
So the only thing, and then I'll let her go on, the only thing to preface this is before going to Italy, which was post 9/11, the only traveling I had done overseas.
Yes, it's post 9/11, but it was like 2010.
Yeah, but
not right after.
No, but my point being is I hadn't really traveled abroad for anything else before, after that. This is my first big trip she's going to tell you about after 9/11. Continue.
Go on,
so,
Amanda.
I was like, his flight, the flight was supposed to take off at 4:45. So I said, we should probably get up, because it was at Logan Airport in Boston. I said, we should probably head up for noon.
God.
I said, we need to get up to Boston for noontime, because you have to go through customs, and you have to do, like, they're going to go through security and all that. Like, it takes time.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why would you need that much time to walk through a line and then go to the plane? Like, it's never taken me that much. So I'm going to be sitting on my butt in the middle of for 4 hours. This is stupid. When I could be utilizing that time for other things.
Go on.
Yeah, no.
I think we might have told the story on the podcast before. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Well, he freaking... The 2 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, we need to go. And we get in the car, and he's like, I have to go to the post office to mail things. And I'm like, why didn't you do this, like, hours ago? So I bring him to the post office, and I'm like, okay, we gotta go. We have to go now. He's like, I have to go to the mall to get a converter, which, by the way, didn't work. It wasn't even the right converter that he picked.
Did you get the Northern European converter?
I don't know.
Anyway.
So we get in the car. It's like 2 o'clock, 2:30.
And his flight leaves when?
At 4. The flight actually leaves the airport at 4:45. I'm like a nervous wreck at this point. We get on Route 6 and we hit traffic. There's never traffic on Route 6, so I'm like, there's an accident somewhere. This is not good. So I thought the accident had happened on 24, so I said, let's get on 195 and bypass all the traffic. Well, I was wrong. The accident happened on 195 on the bridge.
No.
It was a tractor trailer had rolled over. We were stuck on the bridge for an hour.
Oh my gosh.
I was in a panic. I was going 90 miles an hour down the highway.
Allegedly going 90 miles an hour.
No, I was literally, like, I thought we were going to die because I was going so fast down the highway. I was like, this kid is going to miss his flight. And he's like, no, it's okay. I'll just get the next flight tomorrow. It will be, money's just money. And I'm like, no, that's like $1,000. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, what are you doing?
Like already, like, well, this plane's gone. I better start thinking of plan B.
He didn't have a plan B. He did not have a plan B.
My plan B was to stay over at the hotel and catch the flight the next day.
So did you make the flight?
I did.
See, look at it. I worked it out.
We got at the airport at 4:30.
My professor was like, we're going to leave. And I'm like, I'm actually pulling up now. He's like, okay. He's like, meet me and one of the stewardesses at the counter.
It's a good thing you had people going with you to hold up the entire fucking plane, Ike.
So they got me on the plane. Like, they rushed me through security. My bag didn't make it for another 5 days.
Yeah, your punishment. It was your punishment. Somebody was watching, and they were punishing you for doing that to me.
Clearly, she's still bitter about it because she brings this story up all the time.
I'm sorry that I have to bring this up at the end of the show, but I do have to say that I think the show has been very entertaining. I just want to know...
Well, I mean, technically, there's still 15 more minutes we could fill from all that technical difficulty we had right now.
Yeah, but we're bumping up against... Yeah, we can't do that. Nope, it's getting cut out. Everybody knows when Eric's not here or one of the main hosts isn't here, you only get a 40-minute episode. That's how it goes. So be grateful that we gave you this much listeners. By the way, if you want to give us something, you can. Go to justcoolenough.com and hit the donate button. We appreciate the donations, and maybe we'll put it towards something one day. Also, want to extend my gratitude out to Chris for making Shout Engine and giving us a free account over there. You can sign up for Shout Engine and get a podcast going in under 5 minutes for free at shoutengine.com.
And if hitting the donate button is too much work, or perhaps you don't have very deep pockets, which is understandable, then you can go over to your email client and send us an email at theshow@justcoolenough.com. That is the email address. It is theshow@justcoolenough.com, and you can email us about anything. We'll probably read it out because we don't get enough emails as it is, so we'll pretty much read anything.
But if you had a thing you wanted to talk about, that'd be cool. So ask us questions.
Maybe you're into the hamster challenge.
Yeah, oh God. Email us your hamster
blood challenge.
No.
Your hamster challenge photos to Amanda. So, Amanda, where can people find you on the internet? Do you want to be found, or are we just going to not find you?
I don't know where they would find me.
You can find her on Instagram, but she doesn't post anything, really.
No, I don't really post anything.
What do you want to plug this week, Amanda?
You can plug anything.
Anything you want. What do you want the people to look at?
A website or a YouTube video that's 20 years old, anything you want.
Yeah, like last week, I did Charlie the Unicorn.
I love Charlie the Unicorn.
All right, 2 weeks in a row. Thanks a lot.
No, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll circle back around. Ike, what are you plugging this week?
I'm going to plug, we'll go with Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at railvis.com. At railvis, that's RAILVAS. Or you can find me on any Blizzard kind of client, which is railvis #1410.
I know what I want to plug.
Okay, what are you plugging?
So, really, really cool thing that somebody at UMass Dartmouth did. The two students, for their thesis, they recreated the Game of Thrones opening, but for UMass Dartmouth.
Oh, cool.
It was really, really cool.
It's a local plug. All you UMass guys. We have a lot of those listeners because you guys have done such a good job networking. So, hello, all of our I was going to say massholes, but I'm not a local. I feel like that's a derogatory term. Hello, all you massholes. But yeah.
Joe, you're responsible for the show notes, right? Wherever the show notes go.
Yeah, just send me whatever you.
The show hole.
Yeah, the show hole.
There, I'll put there's a link that will get posted with that, so you can check out the link for that in the description somewhere.
And my plug again for the second week. Go check out Top Dead Center. It's a great car show, but. The end of episode 7, they did the awesome plug. I'm actually self-plugging Just Cool Enough. If you haven't heard the Space-Time Oddity episode 320, I went back and listened to it. Man, that was gold. I loved it. It was awesome. We should send that on a record and put it on the next Voyager spacecraft that gets launched. It was just perfect. So thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at JoeQCar. I always like the follows. Thank you for the follows. And I don't know. I mean, like it's kind of weird without Eric here. Just like I feel like we could be friendly and nobody has to say any bad words. We can just thank the listeners for being here and have a nice and productive week. There we go. That's how we end the show. Friendly. That's it. It was a friendly end of the show.
Fuck you!
No!
No!
I was friendly. I wanted to be friends.